Your smile carries the dawn in its curve, a hush of gold that spills into my chest like the first light of understanding. It is more than a gesture, when you smile, the world steadies, and I find myself tracing investured. Each time your mouth softens into that quiet miracle, I learn again how love is not thunder but sunrise, not a storm but the stillness that follows when two hearts decide they have found home. Your smile has poetry in it that no poet could mimic, and I have become its devoted student, memorizing the rhythm of your laughter, the way it rhymes with my breath. When I close my eyes, I see your smile forming before sound or light, a promise that carries me through the shadows that once frightened me. I wonder if you know how you've altered the weight of time itself, how moments stretch when you smile, how every second I spend near you feels like a lifetime's worth the memory. Sometimes I whisper, there, your smile answers, wordless yet eloquent, and I understand that love decides us. Your smile speaks of beginnings, of skies washed clean by rain, of skies washed the air. The first time I saw it, my heart didn't just flutter, it bowed, recognizing something sacred. Every curve of it seems to say, I see you, and in being seen, I come alive. I think sometimes that if the universe could speak through one face, it would choose yours. There are evenings when I recall your smile, the world around me may tremble with its restless storms, but your image steadies me gentle as a candle guarded against the wind. No spoken vow could ever equal that quiet exchange. Your smile is not loud in its beauty, it whispers, it carries the kind of truth that needs no proof, the kind I feel rather than hear. I have seen people search for peace in faraway places, but I found mine in the corners of your mouth, where kindness lives. How out-demand, you may never know how oft they might trace. If I could hold a single moment forever, it would be the one where your smile first met my uncertainty and turned it into wonder. It didn't just reach my eyes, it reached the quietest part of me, the one I thought no one would ever page, and rewrote me into something brighter. I still carry that transformation, that reached the quietest part of me. When you smile, you remind me that love can be both a question and its answer. The world feels smaller, safer, and infinitely more detached. There is a music in your smile that no instrument could recreate. It drifts beyond the spaces of my thoughts, echoing in tones that belong only to you. The melody of it changes me every time. It rises melting beneath the first touch of spring. You never need to say a word. Your smile speaks enough. It tells me I am seen. When I am far from you, I still feel its echo, an invisible warmth that lingers in the air. Your smile is the sound of everything I've ever wished to believe about happiness finally proving itself true. Sometimes I wonder if your smile meant folly, whether day. When you smile, you mend what time has broken. The world grows kind again. Even the moon seems to lean closer, curious to understand how light can be born from a human heart. It has become my reason to believe in unseen things, like faith, destiny, or forever. I am not afraid of waiting anymore, because I know that every dawn carries a trace. Your smile is a language older than speech, and it speaks to something eternal in me, a longing that predates versing. In it appears the word detourly. Sometimes I imagine your smile is as a breakable. It is the proof that love can be quiet and still ignite worlds. I have seen it emerge in moments of latte to ask permission to shine. Your smile belongs to the realm of truth, the kind that does not fade even when unseen. There is an entire story hidden behind your smile, one I could spend my life deciphering, and never. You do not smile because life is perfect. You smile because you have learned how to turn imperfection into grace. That to me is art. Every time your lips curve, I see resilience occurs. In your smile, I see the reflection of every storm you have survived, softened now into peace. It humbles me, inspires me, makes my day. I have often thought about how your smile changes the air, how it gathers everything unseen and turns it into color. The world grows vivid around you. Even silence feels right out. You have become the reason my doubts quiet down, The voice that turns uncertainty, wearing simplicity that something so effortless could hold, the depth of eternity. Your smile is that love could arrive. I want to keep it close, not to own it, but to remember how love feels. When it is pure, there are days when I ache for it, not out of absence but gratitude. There are nights when I cannot sleep, because your smile lingers behind my eyes, glowing like an unfinished dream. I chase its outline in the dark, hoping the memory linger. It reminds me of every soft word we never needed to say, every promise that was made in silence. When I think of you, I realize that love is not measured. It holds me steady even when miles stretch between us. I carry it like a secret star, inside my chest, something sacred and eternal. I know the world may fade. You once smiled at me in a crowded room, and suddenly I could not hear anything else. It was as if the universe had turned down its volume, so that only your light remained. Your smile erased every doubt, every lie that love isn't something we seek. It finds us when we least expect it, often in a single moment of unguarded grace. You smiled, and my life shifted. I began to measure time differently. Everything that came before feels like shadow. Everything after, like morning. I do not need grand gestures or endless decorations, only the memory of that moment, when your lips cade, brage. Sometimes I dream of your smile, Apollo. I look spite. Alu bites. It says, stay, and I do not because I must, but because it feels like home. You have turned something as simple as joy into a map I follow blindly. Each curve, each flicker of warmth, leads my in day. I wonder if you know that you've become my quiet prayer repeated in the rhythm of my breath. When you smile, you give me faith, not in miracles, but in the simple, enduring goodness of love. I have written your smile into every page of my heart, though ink could never hold its light. It's there between each line, breathing softly like wind between petals. I think of your smile when I need to remember that love can be kind, that it can heal without demanding to be understood. You have made me believe that some beauty exists only to be felt, not explained. Sometimes I think the sun envies you, for even it cannot outshine your quiet radiance. If one day I forget everything else, I know your smile will remain. Your smile has turned my fears into feathers, light enough to drift away every time you look at me. That weight. You make even the impossible fee to deserve that grace. But then I remember that love isn't earned, that's received. You offered yours through a single expression, and it changed everything. If I ever lose my way, it is the lighthouse I never knew I needed, guiding me through storms I thought would never end. I have learned that love's truest form isn't shut at its smiled. If I could gather every word I've ever written, and hold them there by becord of date of all lay, I have seen it in laughter and tears, and fleeting glances and long silences. And each time it tells me the same story, that love, when real, does not need to be spoken to be known. I want to spend forever reading that story in your face. You are my favorite line, my eternal verse, the reason my heart dares to write at all.